Savannah, Georgia, a city draped in Spanish moss and mystery. Founded in 1733, it's one of America's first planned cities, with streets laid out in perfect grids around shaded public squares. Its pastel facades and wrought iron balconies have witnessed centuries of triumph and tragedy. Colonial struggles, Civil War sieges, devastating fires, and one of the largest historic preservation efforts in the country. But beneath the charm of its oak-lined streets lies a darker history. Stories of pirates and plagues, secret tunnels, and whispered hauntings. Savannah's waterfront once bustled with trade and smuggling. Its grand mansions were built on fortunes from rice, cotton, and, tragically, enslaved labor. Today, Savannah is both a living museum and a thriving cultural hub, its past carefully preserved yet never static. From the founding of Georgia to the ghost stories that made it America's most haunted city, Savannah's history is a tapestry of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. Let's begin where it all started, on a bluff overlooking the Savannah River. Oglethorpe's vision. In 1733, British General James Oglethorpe arrived with 120 settlers to found the last of the 13 colonies. He chose a high bluff along the Savannah River, safe from flooding and with a commanding view of the waterway. Oglethorpe's plan was revolutionary. A grid of streets with public squares, designed for defense, commerce, and community. This design wasn't just aesthetic. The open squares slowed the spread of fire, gave troops clear lines of defense, and created gathering spaces that fostered close-knit neighborhoods. Even today, the 22 surviving squares remain the city's beating heart. But Oglethorpe's Georgia was also a social experiment. His colony banned slavery, lawyers, and hard liquor. Landholdings were limited to prevent the rise of a landed aristocracy. These rules didn't last long. By 1750, slavery was legalized, and Savannah's plantations, rice, indigo, and especially cotton, became engines of wealth built on the labor of enslaved Africans. The ideals of equality gave way to an economy of stark inequality, a contradiction that would shape Savannah's future. The Siege of Savannah. Fast forward to the American Revolution. In October 1779, French and American forces launched a daring assault to retake Savannah from the British. It became one of the bloodiest battles of the war. At dawn on October 9th, Allied troops stormed British defenses. The attack was fierce, but poorly coordinated. Within less than an hour, over 800 French and American soldiers were killed or wounded. Among them was Count Casimir Pulaski, the Polish cavalry commander who rode straight into enemy fire and was mortally wounded. The British held Savannah until the war's end, and the failed siege became a bitter lesson in the cost of ambition. Today, Monterey Square holds a towering monument to Pulaski, who is remembered as both a foreign ally and a martyr of the Revolution. The battle also left a multicultural mark on Savannah's memory. French troops, Haitian volunteers, Polish officers, and American patriots all shed blood here, a reminder that the fight for independence stretched far beyond the 13 colonies. The yellow fever epidemic of 1820. By the early 19th century, Savannah was booming, but prosperity came with peril. In the summer of 1820, yellow fever swept through the city. Spread by mosquitoes thriving in the humid marshlands, the disease killed nearly 700 people out of a population of just 7,000. The epidemic overwhelmed doctors and churches. Families buried loved ones in haste, often in mass graves. Colonial Park Cemetery, which still lies in the city's historic core, became a haunting symbol of loss. Many of its victims lie in unmarked plots, fueling ghost stories that echo through Savannah's streets today. The tragedy spurred early public health reforms, drainage of swamps, stricter sanitation, and efforts to improve water supply. Yet epidemics would return throughout the 19th century, reminders of how fragile life in Savannah could be. Enjoying these hidden stories? Subscribe to Cityscope USA for more every Sunday. Savannah in the Civil War. When the Civil War erupted in 1861, Savannah was one of the Confederacy's crown jewels. Its port shipped cotton to Europe, its railroads connected the South, and its defenses Fort Pulaski and Fort Jackson, were formidable. But technology was changing. In 1862, Union forces tested new rifled cannons against Fort Pulaski. Within 30 hours, they had breached its supposedly impenetrable brick walls, forcing a Confederate surrender. The victory shocked military engineers worldwide and signaled the end of masonry fortresses as a reliable defense. 3 years later, General William Tecumseh Sherman's infamous March to the Sea reached Savannah. But unlike Atlanta, Savannah was spared destruction. On December 21, 1864, Confederate troops evacuated, and Sherman presented the city to President Lincoln as a Christmas gift. The preservation of Savannah's architecture, while much of Georgia burned, would prove vital to the city's later rebirth. The Great Savannah Fire of 1889. On April 6, 1889, disaster struck again. A fire broke out in a cotton warehouse on River Street. Fanned by fierce winds, flames leapt from rooftop to rooftop, consuming entire blocks. By nightfall, more than 1,500 buildings were destroyed, leaving thousands homeless. Yet the human toll was surprisingly light. Only 2 lives lost. Fire brigades from Charleston and beyond rushed in to help, a testament to Southern solidarity in crisis. Out of the ashes came stricter building codes and a wave of reconstruction. Much of the ornate Victorian architecture tourists admire today dates from this rebuilding era, when Savannah reinvented itself yet again. Preservation and tourism. By the mid-20th century, Savannah's glory was fading. Many historic homes fell into disrepair, and developers eyed them for demolition. But in 1955, 7 determined women, now remembered as the Savannah 7, founded the historic Savannah Foundation. Their first success was saving the Isaiah Davenport House, a federal-style gem slated for destruction. This act of defiance sparked one of the most influential preservation movements in the United States. Over the next decades, block after block was restored. Instead of erasing the past, Savannah embraced it. Tourism surged, but the city avoided the hollow feel of a theme park. Life went on in its squares, shaded by oaks, where children still play and locals gather. Today, Savannah is both a tourist magnet and a preservation model. More than 20 of Oglethorpe's original squares survive, and the city's mix of colonial, Victorian, and modern life makes it a living time capsule. Curious Savannah, the waving girl, Florence Martis, who greeted every ship that entered Savannah's harbor for 44 years, waving a lantern by night and a handkerchief by day. Sailors came to see her as a symbol of welcome. The Pirate's House, a tavern dating back to 1753, long linked with tales of smugglers, press gangs, and even Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, the 1994 book, and Clint Eastwood's later film, turned Savannah into an international sensation, drawing visitors curious about its eccentric characters and haunting beauty. Savannah is a city where history isn't just preserved, it's performed daily in its streets, squares, and stories. From Oglethorpe's social experiment to revolutionary heroics, from epidemics and fires to our birth through preservation. Its resilience is as enduring as the live oaks that shade its cobblestones. It's a city of paradoxes, charm and tragedy, beauty and shadows, memory and reinvention. And that's what makes it unforgettable. And if you thought Savannah's ghosts and legends were remarkable, wait until next week, when we step into Boston. A city born of revolution and reinvented through innovation,